The story of many black pirates was at many times also the story of slavery. Since the first founding of colonies in the New World, European countries scraped up their poor, or occasionally just their unlucky, and forcibly shipped them off to New World colonies as indentured servants. That the term of servitude, often 7 years, outlasted life expectancy in the harsh new colonies, which was sometimes as little as 2 years. However, ship captains bent on kidnapping prostitutes, thieves, beggars, and gypsies for transportation sometimes also scooped up relatives of the rich and powerful. By 1700, indentured servitude was on the decline. Landowners looking to acquire lifelong or hereditary workers also enslaved non-Christians. This could be done under the excuse that by Christianizing these people, the slave owner was benefiting them. But problems surfaced when Jews, Muslims, Native Americans, and Africans converted. Disputes also broke out about what constituted a Christian. Catholic Spain and France claimed that Protestants were non-Christians, while Protestant England said the same about Catholics. By 1700, the vast majority of slaves brought to the West Indies, the area that we now refer to as the Caribbean, were black people from Africa. Pirates had long had problems with slavery. Beginning in the 1600s, pirates who captured slave ships often gave the slaves an opportunity to join their crews. In the beginning, human cargo on captured ships might amount to 6 or 7 people. By the 1700s, purpose-built slave ships were carrying hundreds of slaves from Africa. During the golden age of piracy in the late 1600s and early 1700s, a pirate ship was one of the few places a black man could attain power and money in the Western Hemisphere. Some of these black pirates were fugitive slaves in the Caribbean or other coastal areas of the Americas. Others joined pirate crews when their slave ships or plantations were raided. It was often an easy choice between perpetual slavery and freedom through lawlessness. It is estimated that up to 1/3 of the 10,000 pirates during the golden age of piracy were former slaves. While many were still mistreated and forced to do the lowest task aboard ship, some captains established revolutionary equality among their men, regardless of race. On these ships, black pirates could vote, bear arms, and receive an equal share of the loot. Back on the mainland, however, justice for black and white pirates was not equal. White pirates were usually hanged, but black pirates were often returned to their owners or otherwise resold into slavery, a fate worse than death for some. Capturing a slave ship could vastly increase a pirate captain's power. At one point, pirate captain Sam Bellamy's crew consisted of more than 50% freed African slaves. Bellamy's friend Blackbeard had a crew that was estimated at 30% African. In fact, some historians believe that Blackbeard's famous black beard came from African heritage. Some people even claim that Blackbeard was the offspring of an English nobleman and a mulatto servant. Will we ever know for sure? Probably not. But descriptions of Blackbeard's appearance make this plausible. One of the most famous black pirates was Black Caesar, who raided ships in the Florida Keys for almost a decade before joining Blackbeard aboard the Queen Anne's Revenge. Like many pirates, his life is shrouded in legend, but he was apparently a very large and very cunning man. Many accounts state that he was an African chieftain who had evaded capture by slavers several times before succumbing to a cruel deception. Aboard the slave ship, he was befriended by a sailor who gave him food and water. As they neared the Florida coast, a hurricane provided the confusion the two needed for an armed escape on a rowboat. and they were evidently the only survivors of the storm. For several years thereafter, the pair amassed a considerable fortune by posing as shipwrecked sailors and violently robbing vessels that offered them assistance. They allegedly buried their bounty on Elliott Key. Black Caesar was eventually able to hire on more crew and began attacking ships on the open sea. It is said that he kept a prison camp and possibly a harem of kidnapped women in the Keys, but often failed to leave his captives with provisions during his voyages, and many starved to death. In the early 1700s, he joined Blackbeard's crew as his lieutenant and was therefore Blackbeard's death at the hands of Lieutenant Robert Maynard. Following this defeat, Black Caesar was captured with the surviving crew by Virginia colonial authorities and was hanged in Williamsburg in 1718. The problem with these African pirates is that, like most working pirates of their day, their stories remain untold. But a few names are noted in history. Hendrik Quinter, for instance, was a skilled Dutch sailor of African origin. He joined Bellamy's crew when the Spanish brigantine he was sailing was captured. Quinter was one of the few pirates to escape the disastrous hurricane that sank Bellamy's flagship. Quinter was tried with his fellow pirates and found guilty. But unlike the others, he and John Julian, a Native American pirate, were sold into slavery. It is noted that both men made bad slaves, but their ultimate fates remain unknown. Other black pirates of note including Diego Grillo, a man of African descent who was born in Havana. He took up the pirate trade in the 1630s. He was esteemed by his comrades and was elected to the post of captain. The legend of Diego Grillo has attached itself to many black Caribbean pirates from that era. One Spanish priest writes of being captured by Grillo and states that the pirate captain felt a particular hatred of the Spanish who had enslaved him, and that Grillo made a special effort to burn Spanish ships. Grillo is said to have made his base either Tortuga or New Providence, the later home to the Pirate Republic. Some even claim that he was a ship's captain during Morgan's raid against the Spanish. A pirate by the name of Old South, a black man, is said to have captained one of the many pirate ships called the Good Fortune. In 1731, Juan Andres, a man of mixed African heritage, was the leader of a pirate crew of runaway slaves and Indians. They plundered along the coast of Venezuela. Authorities assumed Andres had died 2 years later when the attack ceased. In reality, Andres and his crew had merely moved to the safety of Curaçao before resuming their assaults. Peter Cloyce, a former slave, became a pirate after Edward Davis took him from his owner in 1679. They became close friends and went pirating in the Caribbean and along South America's Pacific coast. After Davis's ship pulled into Philadelphia in May 1688, Cloyce was arrested, but no records of his execution have ever been found. These are just a few of the pirates of African descent that roam the mighty seas. In future episodes, we will bring to light more of the extraordinary stories from people of African descent that has been untold or forgotten. Thank you for all of your support. Please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And again, thank you for all of your support.